When we worship money, it stops being a tool and becomes an end in itself. It becomes something we hoard, something we fear losing, and that fear, that anxiety, that relentless pursuit, it starts to poison us. It changes the way we see each other. We begin to value people for not who they are, but for what they have or what they can do for us. This is why the love of money can lead to evil. Not because money is evil, money is not evil. Money itself is not evil, but because we are imperfect, money amplifies the best and the worst parts of us. It can build hospitals, feed the hungry, fund revolutions of good, but of course, there's also the evil. It can lead to greed, corruption, and exploitation. Oftentimes, it does. But let's not stop here. This conversation isn't just about blaming money for the world's problems, it's about understanding our relationship with it, with money, because money isn't going anywhere. It's an integral part of modern society. It helps run society. Money makes the world go round after all. But perhaps the question we should be asking is not, is money the root of all evil? But rather, what does our relationship with money reveal about us, the individual? You see, the way we approach money can tell us a lot about our values. It can reflect our fears, our desires, and our sense of purpose and belonging. But it can also offer us an opportunity to define what we truly value. What if instead of seeing money as a measure of worth, we saw it as a means of connection? What if instead of hoarding wealth, we shared it? Instead of using it as a tool for control, we use it to empower others, our friends, and relationships with other people, maybe even strangers. Let's empower each other with money. In the end, money is not evil, but it's not good either. It simply is. Money is money. The real question is, what will you do with it? Will you let it control you, shape you, define your values, or will you use it to build something greater, something beyond yourself? Maybe, just maybe, the real root of all evil isn't money, it's fear. Fear of scarcity, fear of losing control, fear of not having enough. I mean, often we do have this fear, and that's why we want more and more and more. But the antidote to that fear isn't found in accumulating more, it's found in letting go, in trusting that there's enough for all of us, in realizing that true wealth isn't measured in coins or currency, it's none of that, but in your life, in kindness, generosity, and the connections we make with each other. That is always going to be more valuable. So while some may argue that money does make the world go round, I personally think that people would be better without much money at all. I think having less keeps us helps to keep us grounded and helps us to value and understand that what little we have is actually a lot in perspective, and you do definitely learn a lot about yourself when you don't have much because you have to figure out things on your own. You cannot just rely on money. But please let me know what you guys think and what your perceptions on money is. Have a great day. Is money the root of all evil? Money is the root of all evil. We've all heard this phrase, haven't we? It's one of those axioms that seem to echo through the corridors of history, an idea that has passed down from generation to generation in whispers and warnings, sermons, and many stories. But where does this phrase actually come from? And is it really true that money is the root of evil, or is that something deeper and deeper that is something more human that is lurking underneath this ancient belief? To begin, we need to go back to the origins. The phrase as we know it today is often a misquote. The actual biblical reference from 1 Timothy 6:10 states, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil." So it is a little bit different here. It's not money itself, but the love of money, the idea of money that is seen as the source of this moral decay, of this evil, but not money itself. So, why this distinction? What is it about the love of money that corrupts us? Well, after all, money in its simplest form is just a tool. It's used to exchange goods, services. It's a piece of paper, digits on a screen. Now it's digitally comes in different forms of currency. It's a representation of value, but it's not inherently valuable itself, and yet it wields immense power over a lot of people and over our lives. We allow money to take control of us and our actions. So it's not the money, but what money symbolizes. Money symbolizes control, security, status, and perhaps more seductively, freedom. It gives us the ability to shape the world around us, to make choices, to bend reality and our will. And this is where things get dangerous because once we begin to believe that money equals freedom, it becomes easy to fall into the trap of never having enough. And of course, that isn't true. Money doesn't equal freedom. But if you're led to believe so, it is very, very dangerous. So we start our quest for more money, more power, more control, more freedom. So we often lose sight of the cost, and not the financial cost, but us, the human cost. Think about it. How many wars have been fought over resources? How many relationships strained or shattered because of financial stress? How many systems of justice are upheld simply to keep wealth and power in the hands of a few?